Was it the voice? Was it the fire burning in me? All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony. Left me with the pieces of forever that you broke. But since you left me alone, I've been high.
Alright, back on the ferry. I'm trying to think if there's anything to change in here. I don't actually think there has. A lot of it has been mostly... Oop, oh no. Yeah, a lot of it's been mostly elsewhere on the boat. But yeah, back on the ferry. Maybe done a bit of painting and stuff. Engines are all up and running. We've got all the systems in... well, most of the systems in place. And I've done a bit of electrical work as well, so theoretically that should kill the engines pretty soon. Obviously they need to... that's draining a bit quick. Obviously they need to use all the fuel and stuff that they had in them. But yeah, theoretically when I click that button now it actually does something. So, what else have we done? Haven't done any seats or anything yet because I'm still not sure on the design, but we have added... up here you'll notice this big sort of piece sticking out. Need to fix that wee tiny bit. But this leads us down to the toilets, which are sort of still work in progress, but yeah, better than nothing. And then a little storeroom, some clothing in it, so that well, we've got a capability of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 14 outfits in there, so if it's up in the Arctic and we get really cold, we have at least 14 people can wear a coat. The rest of them can just shiver, I suppose. Also done a wee bit in here, so a bit of a better entrance into the engine. I think most of this was all being done in the last stream. Modified the keel tunnel slightly. We've now moved the fuel pipes in here to make it look a bit more realistic. We've actually got stuff happening in the keel tunnel, and we've also got fuel shut-offs. Like both, yeah, I've named them both the same thing. I'll need to change that. And then we've got the tank access. Obviously empty the tank because you don't want to be spilling the diesel everywhere. Up here, yet to decide what to do with up here. Same story as with... there we go. Same story with in here. No idea what to do with in here. I'd say probably some of it will go to crew accommodation, maybe a couple of crew cabins and then a sort of crew mess around the corner. It doesn't need to be much because it's only sort of a short-ish range ferry, so it won't need massive amounts of crew accommodation. Also modified this a wee bit, so now it looks a bit neater going up onto the front. You can access the bridge. So yeah, let's see what we're at. We're doing 19 knots. We've got 110 kilometers range. Can't complain with that. We've already done actually quite a good bit of distance. I only put this in here about 10 minutes ago. So, rather than driving the whole way back and taking up the whole stream doing that, we will respawn back to here and get to work. So first, because that's in my head, fix this little hole in the floor. There we go. I might just fill in this whole thing here, because walking down the stairs I noticed it looked a bit, it does look a bit off. There we go. And the same here, I think. It's just easier than having them with gaps and stuff. Also need to do under the stairs as well. Under here is just going to be completely void. I'm only going to try and think of anything to put in here. Yeah, doesn't need it really. That's the horn. Weird place for a horn, I know, but it's the best place for it to make noise without being too in the way. Because it looks a bit weird on the top, so I just put one of them in instead, just for looks. Anyway, what do we do first? I think first we need to work out in here. Because in here, it looks alright. It's not the worst thing in the world, but there is definitely room for improvement. I think the well, we'll just spawn it in. Actually, it gives us a better look, and we can kind of figure out where things are going from there then. So we'll just go top on. I also need to change the electrical system because the doors don't work until you turn them on. So I need it to be that they're on already. So I'm going to need to trim it back a bit. So obviously nothing's turned on, but we can see a good amount of what we're using up here. All of this stuff here, I like the trim and the throttle control. Engines I think I'm going to move, because engines, although you want information on them, for a book this size they don't really need to be up right at the front. I like this, so you sort of have one side on and then the other side just nice and open to get into the wheel. Here I'm not sure, we could probably do equipment along the walls, same along that side. And maybe a chart table, or sort of like a, oh actually we could do maybe like a crew sofa, so that there's space for people to sit on the bridge, and then some sort of storage area back here as well. And let's just turn the doors on. Doors. If we head outside, this is our staircase down, so there's not really much that needs to go in there. We could maybe have a window into the staircase so you can keep an eye on people, but I don't know that that's strictly necessary. Coming in back here again then, that can pretty much just be void because there's not really enough room, especially when you have the door opening onto it, to actually put anything there. And this is just more handheld stuff. Couple more sheets as well, because you want to be able to have your friends up on the bridge. Then we come out of here, come down into the hall. I wonder, I would ideally like it so that there's only one crew door, so the crew can come through one door, it'll go up one way to the bridge and down the other way into the crew mess, and then eventually to the engine. So I might try and reroute that so it goes under this staircase rather than that one. Will sort of leave us with a void there, but I think it's better than the current arrangement. Let's try that now. So that'll just come straight through, and then the stairs will go down there. It's literally only leading us onto the other side of that wall anyway, so it's not much of a change in layout. You know what, actually that's better already. Because now we have a nice usable area. And then we could just leave another void then in that other spiel. Just gonna curve that down towards the end there. And that way we can get rid of these stairs then. So they are coming down on the other side. They come almost directly to the engine room door. But we can now cut them away. Get rid of this blocking us here. I could probably bring the wall right up to there. What we'll do with this area, I don't know, but we can figure something out. Maybe like a vending machine or something. I'm sure there's a few of them that we could get off the workshop just as a prop. Obviously it doesn't need to be functional. Right, so you come down the stairs, off to the right. Maybe that could be the captain's cabin. And then off to the left. Going down from the engine room. You'll have... what could we have? Actually no, this will be the crew mess, and then have the other cabins in front then. And that way we can leave that door so it just opens into the mess. And then... yeah, that works way better. Oop. And you can still get down the stairs then into the cabin. We'll fill that in once I've got all the microcontrollers in. Okay, let's have a look at the electrics then. At the minute we have electronics, lights, backup, steering, starboard engine, port engine, electric doors, winches and pumps. It's a lot of different things that I fear I may need to redo altogether. So what could we ditch? We could get rid of one of the engine things and just have one engine and then have them each individually controlled. So rather than coming off the main bank of stuff, we could just have one, and then that leads to these two things here, which I had originally intended to do, then forgot about. So that'll be engines. What way could we do this for the microcontroller then? How much room do we have first? We could get rid of the battery reading dial and then have it separate. And that would open each of them up to two things. So one... what one's on this originally? Nope. Okay, steering and trim. So we could have steering and then engines. So steering, and that'll be a push button. We'll do steering, trim, stabilizer, because it'll be all of them things probably. And that's going to be an indicator then. And then engines button, and it's going to be on 2. I'm going to have to renote all of this because all my notes are set up for a different way. So 1 steering, 2 engines, and then 3 will be electric doors. So we'll do that as doors and winches then. And then have the pumps on whatever other one we do. Oh, I haven't said that. Pumps. Most of the pumps are on the engine. So they're powered by the... although actually we'll have bilge pumps and stuff. That needs to be an indicator, and it needs to be on channel 3. And then this can be backup boost, which will be coming off the auxiliary battery, and then it will sort of feed into the other ones when they need it. Can't remember what way I have that set up, but we'll figure out in a minute. Oh, that's the wrong thing. We need that as an indicator, and this is a button on channel 4, and then that one's already on 4. Backup boost. There we go. Change that to indicator so that it works as the indicator. And then electronics. We're going to have this as separate lights because the nav lights I would deem as essential. Other lights not so much. Electronics. I wonder should I reword that to instruments or electronic instruments. Change that to 5, change it to an indicator, and then that can do is just lights on its own then. Oh. That's where I had the backup boost. I thought the backup boost was on the other one. What will we do for that one then? So at the minute then the backup boost is replacing the pumps. You know what, that works actually, because the pumps we could probably not do without, but do them on a separate circuit altogether, and that way if the whole ship breaks you're always going to be able to rely on them a wee bit, or a wee bit more than you would have been able to otherwise. So 3 is doors and winches, 4 backup, 5 nav and electrics, 6 is lights. Grand. So we've got the 3 main boards up here, and that will be controlling what's going. Like if we look at them now, well, they should be one back to the other one so that you can have a direct link between the two. This I think we're just going to have to scrap because it's completely different. That's the wrong panel. Where's the battery panel? Here's the battery panel. Okay, we'll probably ditch a lot of that. Steering, we can get rid of starboard engine and replace that with engine. Doors we can keep, winches we can get rid of. Electronics we can keep, lights we can keep, backup we can. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, pumps, that's what that replaced. Backup. And then we'll get rid of that one there. They can go as well because we don't need them displayed anymore. And now we've just got electronics, lights, doors, winches, backup, engine, steering. We can make this whole thing a lot more neat and tidy. That can go and be replaced by composite reeds. No, composite rights for on off. We need 3 of them, 1 for each battery. Just line them all up for neatness reasons. Okay, and we'll need, I may as well just do 6 on each. Well, we'll do 2 on the first one, 4 on the second one, and then 6 on this one. This is going to be upside down, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. It's in the right order. Right. Steering is 1. Engines are 2. 3 is the doors and winches. And then 4 is backup. 5 then is the electronics. and 6 is the lights. Okay. We're good. That was actually remarkably simple. I just need to hook it up to all this, which I actually might just start from scratch because how many of these do we have? Okay, well, we know we've got the 3 batteries. We'll have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we'll have the main breaker is up on the bridge. The breakers down here are mostly just so it's easier to hook everything up. Could actually hide the breakers down here. So just do them symmetry on so we don't place them at too many. 1, 2, 3. We only need 6, so 3 on each side will do. And which one of these did I have as... Oh, you know what? We can start from scratch, so that doesn't matter. So, steering. We'll have... Going from right to left, everything right to left. Obviously it's left to right in the orientation we're looking at it, but from this side, all the engine stuff will be on this side. House and domestic on that side, and then the backup stuff in the middle. Steering, engine, doors, winches. These will need to be accessible actually, in case they get knocked off by a megalodon. Okay, well we'll make a fuse box somewhere then. Oh, that means I'm going to have to give them proper titles as well. Backup trickle charge. Actually, you know what? Trickle charge doesn't sound right because that's providing a charge. We're just going to call this boost, because that's what it is. Boost. Doors slash winds. Oh. Door slash winches. Engines. Steering. Trim. Stabilizer. I need to think about where the stabilizer is going to go. Electronics, instruments, Nav Lights, and then lights. Okay, so have your deck lights, domestic lights we'll call them. So they're all on. Oh, no, they're not. They're all should be on automatically. We'll stick them in a fuse box at a later date, but we'll wire them up for now. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. These will come from this battery. That will come from that battery. And that one from that battery. Okay, whatever number it is, I've completely forgotten now. Okay. Odd on the top. Steering. Engines. Backup will be there. Doors will be there. Electronics. Lights. Lovely job. Right. I just need to bring all this to the engines and stuff. Engines are going to go to these 2 things here. Where is that coming from? That is coming from there. Okay. And then they can be individually controlled then. So if you want to cut off the supply to one, you can come down, flick it off with the switch, and you'll be running on one engine. And if you want to cut off the supply to both, you'll flick off that switch or turn it off at the bridge. Right. electronics and nav lights will go up to this key, because that's where everything's sort of hovering about. Doors. It's connected up to the different doors about the place. There's quite a few of them. There's two there as well. Just realised I've done this wrong. I need to run these through the other things. So, engine battery. We'll go to these ones instead. That one will disconnect from there and go up to the back end of the engine battery supply. And then get rid of that, bring that up to the auxiliary battery. And the auxiliary battery back to there. Bring that down to domestic and lovely. So now everything should be able to be controlled properly from the bridge. We'll paint these a different colour because that is way too bright. It's actually a good reminder I need to do that to a few other stuff here, like these and all that and that. Just for now this is the colour, probably will change at some point. So shall we test if it works? Oh, you know what, we'll actually control them all separately and they will come all directly off their own batteries. So that way, even if everything's switched off, you can always theoretically control the batteries. We'll go. And I haven't done what I actually intended to do for the whole purpose of this for, which was so that we would save. Yeah, that's not really how I wanted that to work, is it? Okay, I've completely defeated the purpose of doing this. I didn't even connect them up, did I? No, I did. It was just pointless though. So we need that to change to push to toggle, which basically means that when we push the button it'll toggle it and it'll save us having, basically means you can control it a few different ways. Oh, how do I do that? I forgot how to do this now. Maybe a push to brake? No, we don't have a push to brake. Toggle to push. No, that's a pulse. We don't need that. How do we have this so it's automatically on? To start with. An XOR maybe. Okay, so we just need an on and then we'll have that feeding into a load of XORs. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will come from the on, we'll do them all separately actually. That'll go there. Oh, no, that will go there. And then that will go to the engine and the output. Yeah, I've definitely made this a lot more messy. Not that that's what's important, but it does sort of matter that they look presentable enough, because then when you're troubleshooting later, the figure it on the, oh right, yeah, if you're troubleshooting later on and it's a mess, then you have issues. Having said that though, a nice clean setup doesn't necessarily make troubleshooting easier. It just makes it less of a pain. We'll feed that constant on signal in once these are all in place. And then that way we can just do it all in one sweep then. Right, move that over a wee bit. What have we done here? Skipped out a crucial part of it. I believe I've set this up right, because if I haven't, then yeah, I don't really know what to do. Right, we'll get all these connected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's always good to count stuff like that out, because then at least if something doesn't go, you won't have it counted. If you know how many you're doing, obviously if you don't know how many you're doing, it's a bit useless, but if you know you're supposed to have 6 and you only end up with 5, then you know you've done something wrong. See if you find out later. Right. This should work. Can I see any reason why it couldn't work? Nope, I can't. Let's just go for it and just make sure all the logic is in place. And that, yep, it is. Okay. Very good, let's go. Right. This better be on. The first test to show if it worked is if this door opens. Oh, it does. That's brilliant. How fantastic. Is this bridge set up? Yes, the bridge is set up. Port engine. That is not what I want to see on that. Okay, they're just set up wrong. Is what's happened there. They must be on the wrong channels. They're named wrong as well, so I need to change them anyway. Instruments 1. Steering. Trim and stabilizers. Engines. Okay. Nope, need that to be 2. What has went wrong with the trim? Trim is 2, isn't it? No, trim is 1. Okay. Why is that happening then? Let's go find out. There we go. Nope, that's... Okay, everything's doing the wrong thing. They are all hooked up wrong. Is what has happened. Steering. And that's going to steering, yes. And then that's going to engine. Okay, I have a feeling these are all going to be wrong. Okay, I don't get it. What? Oh, that would be what it is. That would do it indeed. So these just need renumbered, retuned. 4 is grand. 5 and 6. There we go. Right, much better. Okay, it should work this time. If it doesn't work this time, we're frigged. Okay, door opens. That's good. They all turn off their respective items. Electronics is switched on, but that isn't. But it is when I put on lights. Oh dear. Right, okay. What's happened there? If I turn on the bridge systems and then turn off... Okay, so lights and electronics are mixed up then. Oh, right, I've got these round the wrong way. So it should be... Oh wait, no it is. Hang on. What is it here? Electronics and Nav Lights, right. Maybe I've got these two upside down. That could be what it's been. Okay, lights are going to the bottom. The bottom was going here. Okay, they're the wrong way around. Get rid of that, and bring that to there. That should be it. Sorted. And then we'll have these getting fed by just generators. That way, as long as the engine's running, there's always going to be power going to them, and there's always going to be a little bit of charging to them, and they'll not drain themselves too quickly. Let's give ourselves some trim tabs because we don't yet have them. Not that we really need them too much, but it's better to have them on than sort of not have them and wish they had them. I wish to change that. No, I'm not. I'll just leave it like this. Sort of alright having little sort of weird looking bits in the hull. If you can see that there's something going there and it's something useful. The trim tabs then, I'd say that switch box is just going nowhere. Yes it is. Okay, so I'll need to bring in the trim tabs control panel. Stabilizer, no, that's not at all. Oh wait, no, that is the right one. Trim and stabilizer tab. We'll hide this way down at the back, right beside the trim tabs, and likely where the stabilizers will go as well. 2 panel. There we go. From panel. And then port stabilizer. Oh, don't want stabilizers yet, we want trim tabs. So, now we should get a wee bit of trim out of the boat. Not that it'll make a huge deal of difference because the boat is very, very heavy. It's like displacement all the way. I was sort of hoping it would plane, but I'm sort of now imagining that less and less being the case. Okay, so that's 20% throttle and we're cruising along sort of crawling speed at 2 knots. And we've only got one engine running, why is that? Oh, I don't need to go that way anymore because we have this staircase. It's going to take a wee minute to get used to. Okay, that's not turned on, that's what it was been. So, remind me when we go in to do that. So. Ooh, what have we done here? There we go. Let's bring ourselves right up to full tilt. And just let her fly. You can sort of hear her maxing out at 15 RPS. I'd like to get that a wee bit higher then, but that's not really too much of an issue at the moment. We can tune that all at the end when we have the final weight and stuff like that. Because before that, then we don't really have too much to work off. So just let it build up a wee tiny bit more speed. Probably basically there. Okay, 26 knots, that's pretty much our full speed. See if it gets any higher. Yeah, I don't reckon it will. I'd like to get past 30, but... Okay, so there's just trimming up. A bit more. Slowing us down. And then that's us back level. Trims down. Also slows us down. But trimming it down could be handy when we've got really bad wind because we can dig the front of the boat in so that it doesn't jump about as much. or we can make it come out a bit higher, and that way when it does come out, it isn't, the props aren't as likely to come out of the water because they're constantly being planted in. So when you're coming downwind, it'll do, you can trim it up, and then vice versa. Just whatever suits best at the time. Obviously you'll probably take it back a wee notch and throttle when you're going along in weather like this. Big waves. And we'll just maneuver ourselves around. Still getting 16 knots at 70% throttle. I'd like a wee bit more range with the throttle, because the throttle at the minute we're getting like very low speeds up until about 50%, and then we're not getting a huge improvement from them once we build the throttle. But so there's 75% throttle and we're doing 12 knots. In a following sea, we should be surfing right now. Could have just been the way we were trimmed. Oh, that's not good. You see, that's what we want to avoid. We only avoid getting lifted up like that to the point where we can't actually make any headway. So there's 21 knots now. And then when we bring the speed up a bit, so that's 14 RPM, 14 RPS, sorry. We're surfing along, 21 knots. That's, I think it was level in terms of trim. Looks quick, but it isn't actually that quick. It's just about getting 30. It's stable though, which is good. We're not getting thrown about too badly, and that's at 100% wind. So it should handle sort of everyday wind quite nicely. I'd hopefully use this if we get any further ahead with the career series. Just need to get a wee bit back into it, and then we'll sort of work our way up and use this boat then. This or the catamaran, whichever one suits. Probably the catamaran because it's a wee bit more efficient, but also this one then for more passengers if we need to. Although I could say actually the catamaran could possibly be more passengers than this, or very similar amounts of passengers. Because this is a big boat, the catamaran is also a very big boat as well. Right, let's take that back to the workshop, and I think we'll spend the last kind of while of the stream then. Now that we've got the electric sorted, I'm very happy with the electrics now. I'm glad we did that. Otherwise, it would have just been sort of a bit weird, and the system wouldn't have worked terribly well. So now what we'll do is a layout of in here. I'm going to cut that away and fill that with blocks. It's going to add a wee bit of weight, but it'll sort of keep the aesthetic a wee bit nicer. So we're going to have rows of seats. We'll have more on this side, and then have a sort of path leading up the middle straight to that door. That'll be a crew only door. So I'll write this on a few of the doors actually. Like this one. And we'll get rid of that thing that I just placed by accident. Doors. Oh, I forgot about these. I meant to actually check what way these open. Yeah, they open out way, but I just need to check what way they open in terms of how far. Because I might redo these so they work a bit better for a bit better flow inside. But I suppose it's still within that rub rail. And they're a good size now. You wouldn't want to make them any tighter getting through unless you were to move them back by another block, which I suppose is possible. And then that'll keep them flush with a hole, and then you'll have that extra bit of protection from the rub rail. Not sure what we're going to do about a gangway either. Sometimes I've done the gangways where it'll be in the boat and you'll roll it out the side of the boat once you open the doors. But this, I don't think that's going to work on. I think it's just too small of a space. You know, we'll keep this like this for now because it's not a bad design at the minute. Should paint that in like that. Obviously on symmetry so that we don't have to redo it later. Yeah, the issue with that is then you have to leave that. Yeah, okay, right, we'll leave that white then. Just have the black coming there, so we'll have it to the end of the windows, and then here we'll have another white wall. Yeah, that'll do. Right, where should we have a light up floor? Like on a plane. Where you'd have like the lights down the side of the aisle so that you know where to go in an emergency. Because that's handy. Both in an emergency and just generally. If it's dark, you can light up the floor. Obviously I'm not going to do this whole thing because that would take ages to place. I need to decide a floor colour as well, and actually, if I'm going to do this. Ooh, that's a lot of pressure. Blue. A very, very basic blue. Or actually, what we could do is have a sort of blue on the inside and then have a line down the outside of like a sort of steel line. Yes, we'll do that. Hello, Owen Colley. Okay, we'll do this, and then that way it'll be like a sort of designated walkway. And then we'll have a separate colour for the rest of the carpet, and then this will just keep things a wee bit more neat, and subtly add a bit more detail as well. Because subtle detail is what we're all about. We don't add actual detail, we just add things that look like they're detailed. It's all a big illusion. And then that'll light up. What way will it light up? What's up? Not much. This is about all that's keeping me occupied right now. Actually, no, we'll do them individually so that they're easier to expand onto them. And obviously I'm not going to do that the whole way up. We're going to copy and paste because I don't have 1,000 years. Yeah, that looks good. We'll need to redirect it a bit here, but we'll figure that out in a minute, I suppose. We'll just connect all these up as well. Keep it all nice and neat, because the last thing I want to do is start doing all the wiring and then not know why they're not working. That would get very, very annoying. Right, how much space? Okay, that's 3 blocks wide, so we could go with that as like a sort of universal size then for how much space we want. Maybe have a wee bit more at the stairs because they're stairs and safety and all that stuff. I wonder, I could just reuse the seats that I use on every other boat, which are, let me just grab a few of them. I'll be playing some co-op. Possibly late, like a couple of months, well, maybe even weeks if we're lucky. I'd like to do a big RP session where we'll take a big boat from somewhere on the map and bring it to another place, possibly one of the harbours they've made. I think that'll be quite fun. But it's just getting it actually organised because we need to have a server up and then have staff for it, and also make sure it won't break, because the amount of times we've done events and they've been a complete disaster because Stormworks can't handle the boats. We need to avoid stuff like that happening. We're going to need to extend these actually so that they fit a bit better, because we've got room for another sheet then, which is no bad thing. Possibly another 2 seats actually. Yeah, we do. Okay, we'll leave these 2 as they are. We'll do 3 between them, and then this next one we'll add the extra one on. So yeah, hopefully fairly very soon we'll sort RP night out. I will probably stream it so that it's yeah, so that everyone can join in. So there's then the question of, do you do it really ultra realistic, like using push to talk chat only and all that kind of stuff, doing proper VTS for all the boats, or do you just do it sort of the way, like do you just do it kind of casually and have it a bit sort of more fun oriented? Personally, I lean more towards the other one. How do you do that? Like when you get a boat and a boat, it's just the, what do you call it, selection tool, selection grid. So you can take parts of one boat, add them onto another, or just add another boat to the workshop, and then sort of, like that's what I do, because of a lot of my systems are kind of carried over then. I'll just spawn the boat in once, or spawn the, what's it called, I'll spawn one boat in and then just copy them all over, instead of redesigning or remaking a load of microcontrollers and stuff. Just bring them all over from the other boat, and it saves me a lot of sort of time and effort. Speeds up the building. It's a very handy tool, and probably widely underused, I'd say. Is that a humane place to sit, people? Yeah, it is, I suppose. These people are going to have a little bit less legroom, but when you travel with Craigle's ferries, you get what you pay for, which is not much. Get rid of these. So yeah, if for example here we're going to the selection grid, hold down control, you can select a block, and then press shift and just click on the other blocks you want. You can also drag it out, but using shift just makes it a lot quicker. Oh, they've only got 2 as well. Okay, then we'll move all of these up forward one and get rid of that front seat. Say a lifeboat. What do you mean? Oh, like adding a lifeboat onto a ship? Yeah, well, yeah, that would be a good example of when you would use it. You'd build the lifeboat separately, and then you'd bring it across. Like I have, I'll show you it now. Nope, not that one. Station of Farah. So this wee lifeboat I made for a big cruise ship. So you'll be able to build the lifeboat separately, and then this is going to take about 10 minutes to load in, like, but it'll show off the idea quite well. So yeah, you're able to build the lifeboat separately and then add it onto the much bigger boat. It saves you sort of fiddling about with the big boat, and then you can see they're just tucked away on the side of the boat, and you just bring them in and spawn them in there, and it works, just works. Unfortunately they won't get used, but yeah, maybe another time. That's for another live stream, I suppose. Right, so oh no, Okay, I've numbered these all wrong. Oh, I just needed them to be called seat, not numbered. Seat 41, seat 42. I think I'm just going to have to start from scratch because that's going to take ages to go around and delete all the seats and then redo them, so I'll just repaste over them with the right details. Bear with me a second while I fix this colossal mess I made. And yes, I will change the colour of these seats because like 4 Ferry, no, yeah, that would be 4 boats in a row, all using the same, no, 3 boats, yeah, still 3 boats. 3 boats in a row, all using the same colour scheme. People might think I'm getting a bit uncreative. But they'd be right. This is going to end up with a lot of bodies to merge. Cool. Should make it tips and tricks. I've thought about doing that before, but then that's sort of why I do the live streams as well, is because it shows, like I'm doing it, well, just with this boat as a sort of test one, and then if this goes kind of well, I'll start doing more proper build videos of stuff and I'll actually show people how I make the boats. I've got quite a big project planned that I think will work quite well for it. You might have noticed there was quite a big cruise ship a minute ago. It's going to be a smaller version of that, but I'm sort of thinking I might hold off and do it as a sort of video series. Possibly, like there's another YouTuber working on a big cruise ship and a few big projects, and he does it in the sort of way where you've got weekly updates. So like every update he'll do or every week he'll do an update on the project and sort of keep people informed about it. But then that way you don't actually see the building side of it, which is sort of good because the building side of it can get quite repetitive. And if you're just kind of getting kept up to date with the actual project itself, it's not as sort of boring to watch. But yeah, tips and tricks, I might do sort of stuff that's sort of helpful tips for new people playing. Because there are like yourself, there's people that don't know sort of how to do stuff that a lot of more advanced players would take for granted, like the selection grid and all that kind of stuff, where you're able to, like, it just makes life so much easier having all that kind of stuff and knowing how to use it well, rather than sort of copying everything out by hand. We're time lapses actually. Sorry, no, it's a bit out of nowhere, but I've done that before, where I do time lapses of stuff getting done, and in that way people can see the building side of it without having to sit for ages and watch. So that could be an idea to do more stuff like that. Because they're not too much effort to do either, they don't take too long to make. because you're already building the thing. So why not just video it? Takes up a lot of room, especially if you're a very slow builder like myself. But yeah, if you're able to get a nice series out of it, it's well worth it. Because I did that before with a river cruise ship. That was really, I thought it was a really cool build. And it went down quite well. A lot of people seem to quite like the videos, which is very nice to see. Oh, this is going to be so many little red dots to connect up. Ugh, I kind of forgot about that. That's going to be time consuming. Damn. I suppose we'll get through it. Or should we just have that go straight across the door? Can't really see it doing too much harm. Actually, you know what? I think I am going to move these doors in because there's enough space to do it and not lose. Ooh, jeepers. Guess we'll start from scratch. Yeah, there's enough space to do it without losing too much of your internal space. So cut, paste. That way the door will only open a wee bit in rather than the whole way in. Oh my god, I forgot the bloody buttons. I suppose actually that works out quite nicely for this little corridor. It makes it feel more like a corridor, which is kind of what it's supposed to be. Bridging the sort of gap between the two passenger areas. I was sort of going to do it first and second class, but I don't know that that's strictly necessary. Literally, it's going to be the same seats anyway, so why not just make it two different areas? But yeah, we'll see a bit more when I figure out what I'm going to do in that gap. But yeah, I think it's just going to be two different rooms, identical in design. Okay, let's copy this whole aisle, and then where are we now? The issue with the selection grid, you get lost very easily because you can't really see what you're doing in it. Okay, let's copy that and bring it all the way to the back and put it in where this door is. It's too long. Okay, we'll take what we had and chop a good bit off it. And then that way, it'll be just the perfect size. Too short. Okay, we can extend it a wee bit. We'll do a gap of 3 around the edge. Probably won't need all of it because the seats will only be so big. Probably should have done that first. Oh well, you know what, we can do that now. and then work out what more we need of the thing, of the sort of aisle. These all just say seat, don't they? There's no sort of irregularities. Yep, that's good. Oh, can't wait to number them all. That's going to be really a whole lot of fun for all the family. Obviously I'm not going to stream that because that would just be absolutely awful. Not something I want to endure myself, so I don't think many people would be wanting to watch it. Well, you know what, this could be tight enough. I think what I'm going to do as a result of that, oh for goodness sake, is select all of this and that, cut it and move it all back by 1. Means that first person's going to be a wee bit closer to the wall, but they'll manage. Might make these ones just one-sided. Save me extending that area out. Perfect. Okay, cut that, move it back. It's going to block a little bit of the windows, but not a huge deal. And then we'll put this into here. I'm going to do a similar arrangement with this one because we don't want... We'll just have it back onto the aisle. I say aisle, it's more of a passageway at this point. What way is this going to go? Okay, it's going to come down there. We could actually have a row of seats along that edge. Get as many seats as we can. This for no reason at all. Like I've never seen an area with more than maybe 6 people on Stormlink. So obviously the demand isn't huge when you're actually doing it. So kind of question the idea of why I'm making a huge passenger vessel by the sort of standards we're going off, because this will never be full using Stormlink. It wouldn't even be full using a server. So I think the maximum server size is 64. I think, but like, yeah, you'd never. This should, I'm guessing, be about 100 overall passengers. Just quite a few, but not enough, or no, not quite a few by Stormworks standards. Not much by real life standards, but yeah, it's a different set of standards altogether. What I should have done is do all the lines first, so like the ordinary lines, and then do the lights afterwards, so that it was easier to match them all up when they're like this. Because the minute I'm gonna have to darken out a lot of lines, so that I can access underneath them to paint them. So we'll paint them all black, and then that'll stop them emitting light. That one. And there. Yeah, the last thing I want to happen is to have part of it not look right when it's not lit up. That would just be really, really annoying. Right. So we can now fill all this in, pretty confident that it won't be in the wrong place. Not sure how this works in terms of blanking it out, so I'll not take the risk. I'll just do a perimeter, or I'll just use a brush rather than a fill tool, because I can't be bothered going back around after to make sure that it hasn't done anything it shouldn't have. Grand. That looks pretty good. That actually does look pretty good. Now, electrics. This is going to be fun finding all the wee breaks in it. There's going to be a few of them. Or maybe not. There should be a few of them. Okay, there's one. Yeah, I sort of get worried when there's not. See, this is why I did it so they're all individually connected rather than sort of branching out from one. Because if they're all branching out from one, if you delete that one by accident, then you're sort of ending up missing a load of connections, and then you have to do them all again. Right, that should be it. Where am I going to put the button for this? I'll probably have a button here and then a button on the bridge that will sort of relay the same thing. Yeah, this has actually been a pretty good stream because it's finishing out the boat. It's always quite fun. Just wish there was a few more people. We've only had 1 or 2 the whole time. In fairness, that's my fault for short notice, but yeah, still a wee bit. What did I just paint there by accident? Painted something. Okay, suppose there's no real avoiding this, I'll have to do this now. So we'll make this wall here our lighting wall. It'll have all the different lights on it. We'll just do 1 row because I don't think we'll need to. So upper deck lights. That needs to be a button. Yep. And then upper deck lights indicator. And then lower deck exterior lights. I assume that means do you have Discord? And yes, I do. It's linked in the description. That should be anyway. Lower deck exterior lights. There we go. And that'll be the indicator. That's going to be channel 2. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll write these down so I don't forget. So, channel 1 is upper deck. 2, low exterior. Number 3 will be. Number 3 be I wonder. Number 3 will be interior cabin. Passenger cabin. We'll have passenger cabin ceiling and then passenger cabin accent lights as well. So the accent lights will be on the floor and then just sort of like decorative lights as well. Not sure how I'm going to do the decorative lights yet, but we will figure something out, I guess. Is that how you spell ceiling? I think it is. And this one will be passenger toilets. Or should I just have them individually controlled and then have them? Yeah, I'll do that. So this one will be crew room, or crew area, and then the other one will be the wheelhouse lights then. And then everything else I'll just control at that area. So just have them on ordinary buttons instead. What was that one? Oh, wheelhouse. See, is that too far away to have the wheelhouse light controls? It shouldn't be, but might possibly be. But no, we can figure that out after. So this is going to be pretty much an identical system to the battery system, except it doesn't need to be on automatically, so we can kind of cut out a step. And actually what I'm going to do is completely copy this, because it works and it does the job quite well. I'll get rid of all the XORs and we'll rename everything, but apart from that we will do everything the same. So passenger cabin, and then passenger accent was 4, 5 crew room, 6 wheelhouse. Okay. So start with upper deck. Lower deck exterior. Passenger ceiling, and then passenger accent, crew area. What I'm sort of thinking with 2 different lights for the passenger cabin is sort of like a plane. When you get on a plane at night, all the lights will be on. But as soon as you get ready to take off, they'll turn the lights off, so your eyes have adjusted to the darkness. And then that way, if there's an incident, you can see what you're doing a lot easier. Obviously not as big of a deal on a boat because things aren't travelling at 700 miles an hour, but it's still handy, I suppose. They can't actually be there, they need to be on these ones. Oop. Some of these will need oars actually. Possibly all of them, apart from the wheelhouse and the deck ones. Okay, we'll do the passenger area then, as we'll have oars for them. And that way, if I add in any, just actually need to rename these as well. So that'll be 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's the different panels then. It's just a bit easier to manage that way. Or, okay, so that you can turn them on from different locations. The oars in the wrong place. That needs to be before the push to toggle coming from there. Swap them around. There we go. Lovely job. And then obviously need an input for them. So I'll add that in. And that'll be passenger ceiling. I can't remember what way the E's go in the ceiling, so I'll just assume that's it. Passenger accent. I think all the other ones, actually no, crew area as well, we'll do one for crew area. That way the crew can turn them off without going to the bridge. Because that would get rather inconvenient if you were down in the crew cabin about to go to sleep and then you remembered, oh crap, I can't go up. I have to go all the way up to the bridge again to turn off the lights. You'd be a wee bit annoyed, wouldn't you? I probably would. Stick the oar in there and put that to there, that to there, that to there. Keep that where it is. I'll slip that in there. Lovely. Constant on signal we can get rid of because we don't need that. Passenger accent and passenger. Perfect. Okay, so ferry domestic lights. I'm gonna need to start coming up with different names for all this stuff because I have so many microcontrollers all for lights and a lot of them for ferries as well. I've got a lot of ferries, all of them having lights. Ferry. Let's see how many things come up here for ferry. Ferry access, ferry engine management, ferry light control, ferry lights, ferry propulsion. Where is domestic? Why didn't I save that then? Aha, right. That is not what I wanted. I need to get rid of that. But I will replace it with a little light bulb. The worst light bulb potentially ever drawn. But I will save it like that, and then that way I can identify it easier. Ferry. Where is it? I literally just had it there a minute ago.
Doing the things they know, talking about the same old stories they've heard about the people they think they know. But do you ever try to put on the right side, put it up in your mind? But did you ever try to put on the left side, put it up in your mind? It's gonna be hard. I'm here,
So, I had put them in the wrong place. Okay, I've just realised how long this is going to take me. I really want to see this. I don't think the stream would look good if we got to see this done. But at the same time, I really don't want to do this now. There's a lot of these little buttons here. Probably should have used a relay for these actually, so that if I have to change that microcontroller I won't have to do all these again. I was going to put it in a neater place then, because at the minute this is just going to be a blanket of red lines all over the boat. Oh, I cannot wait for this to not be what I have to do. Who else goes and looks at other people's logics the way I do, there's going to be some serious questions asked in regards to what on earth is going on here. Because like if I saw this on another person's boat, I'd be sort of a little bit shocked, to say the least. Jeez, there must be hundreds of these. I must have a look at the data to see how many meters of logic there is. Because there's an app that analyzes the vehicle file for you. and then tells you how much of everything it has, so how many logic connections there are, how many, like it'll go down to each block, each individual block as well. So like how many wedges, how many, just everything. That actually might be them done, is it? Should be, better be. Are they connected to anything? That's the question. I suppose we'll find out. Bring that down to domestic lights. And we'll spawn it in. This could get really very laggy, but we'll just hope for the best. Oh, I forgot that was there. Probably get it on one move and then might be a bit better. So, nice pathway leading all the way around, nice sort of line around the edge. Sort of marks out where you're supposed to walk, keeps the floor nice and clean. Well, obviously it doesn't in that area, but it means that you're not going to get the floor in the other areas dirty. Upper deck lights, we don't have any of them. Passenger cabin accent lights, why did that not work? Oh my goodness me. I would imagine it's something to do with not having the composites in, because that would really help. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3. Right. Second time's a charm. We could have learned from our mistake last time and moved that boat, but no, we'll just roll with it. Okay, we've seen in there now, we don't need to go back through there. Well, I suppose I could take an internal staircase just for a laugh. Passenger cabin accent lights. Let's walk down this way. So these should provide absolutely no illumination, just simply a marking. Oh, that looks nice. Few patches where they broke. So there's obviously bits of it missing. What was in the way there? Oh, the door. So yeah, obviously a few pieces where I've not done the connections up properly. But that looks really good. Quite happy with that. And then we'll do some sort of decorative ceiling lights as well then. So really sick. It is indeed, yeah. Where was it that had... Must be somewhere up here. Oh, there we go. Just have a double check around, see if there's any more. Connect that down at the end as well, just as another sort of safety net. Okay, we don't need to respawn that in because we've seen it now. Seats. Suppose we could stick the seats up on the top now. We will firstly though put in place the railings along here. So this will be the life raft behind here. I was going to do like a launchable boat, but then I remembered this is Stormworks and that's bloody difficult to do in Stormworks. So we'll not be doing that, unfortunately. Because small boats are just an absolute fucking nuisance. Okay, climb up. I think 2 blocks is wide enough to get through. Yeah, it should be. Probably should have thought about that before doing it, but... And then we'll paint it all that same colour blue. The rails won't actually be blue. Well, they might be, but yeah, they won't be necessarily blue. This is just to give me something that I can swap the colour of. So use the replace tool and say, for example, I wanted them peach. We could change them all to peach. But for the minute, we will stick with blue, and then we'll replace that colour towards the end when we've got a bit more of a colour scheme figured out. While I say that, actually, I'll change the color of these seats. So I'm thinking these seats can be more sort of this color, but a wee bit nicer. That kind of color looks a bit more fancy than the other boat, which sort of looks a bit, well, they're all the same now, but this boat sort of looks like plastic seats, whereas that looks sort of like nice leather-ish. Maybe not leather, like, what would it be? Fabric? I suppose fabric's better than nothing. I'm going to copy a few of these first so that I still have that colour though. Because I was sort of thinking maybe that'll be a nicer colour for up on the roof. Well, not on the roof, upper deck. So we'll then repaint them and then we'll paste the blue ones up here. I don't think we'll do them 4 wide, we'll just do... Let's put this in there sort of provisionally for now. Copy that and bring it back into here. This could probably do with being another one that has just the one seat, so no backwards facing one. Not here, no. Actually, no, we'll do a bit of a gap in the middle there, and then yes, we'll do the seats running up each side then. So we'll do two rows each, or 2 sets each side, and then that'll continue all the way up the boat. Perfect. Grand, 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 grand. Copy all these, or merge all these together to neaten them all up, and then we'll copy these 2. Wow, great job, selection tool. Oh, for goodness sake. Copy that and move that with a gap of 3 between each of them. Just enough to fit in enough of them, but also enough to leave you a nice amount of space between them. Is that an unrealistic amount of space in there? Possibly. Okay, so I guess we'll have these as just single-sided as well. Oh, there's so much seats, but then again, I suppose that's less to number when I do the Stormlink. So every cloud, I suppose. And then we'll do a few more of these at the back then. Okay, so 4, 8, no, 4, okay, 6, 8, 16, 24, 28, 20, 32, 34, oh my god, 68 seats on the top. Oh, that's too many seats. I suppose I don't need to number them all. Could just do half of them. Or should do them selectively. Just pick random seats. The issue with that is I suppose you're not going to miss any actually if you do it that way, because you won't be worried about missing any. That'll not be the aim of the game. Ooh, thanks for joining the Discord, Owen. Right. I don't even want to work out how many's in here. But I think I will anyway, just calm my nerves. Okay, 12, 24, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 64, 68, 72, 72 plus 12 is, no, 90, 102, 106, 100 and, no, 100 and, 102, 110, so, oh no, yeah, that's 8, 110 and then 118. Okay, 118 plus 68 is 170 plus 400, 186 passengers. Oh Jesus, 186 passengers. I don't think I'm gonna do all of them because that's a lot of seats. 186. Ah, what? 186 passengers. I should have done this on a Stormlink world so that I could check the different places. I've never seen anywhere near that amount of people for Stormlink. Stormlink's usually only like 5 or 6 people at each station. So 186 people is really an unnecessary amount of seats. What I could do is just do like 30 for Stormlink, and then that way you've got a good amount of range for sort of expanding if you need to. Okay, what else can we do? We can paint the deck. We need to figure out a paint scheme for up here. I'm not going to do any lights up here because that's going to take way too long. The front I reckon we'll just leave clean up from the steps onwards. Maybe have like a railing every so often so that you're not going to fall off over the side. Not a proper railing though. Something like that where it's just like a sort of short rail above the top, but I need to figure out a way of making that actually look good because it doesn't at the minute. Actually, you know what? Let's spot it in. See, get a vibe for these seats. See what they're like. Where are we going to put our exterior deck lights? That's the question. Also, we could probably fit more seats in the air if we wanted, but I really don't want to. 186, so it would be 100 and... Did I work out? 118 or 108? Like 118 window capacity, so like you can fit everyone inside, and then during the summer you could put people outside as well, if you want to work it out like that. Alternatively, you could restrict it so that there's always enough room for everyone inside. And it's always restricted that amount so no one ever has to go outside if they don't need to. Because it can get stormy in the summer, obviously. So, let's just imagine this, you're a passenger. You walk in through the very spacious doorway. You're led into this nice thing, which I should have turned on for effects. But not worry. You look around, you see 112 odd seats and think to yourself, no, I don't want them seats. I'm gonna go up here. And you go up the stairs, out onto the deck. haven't thought that through at all, have I? Maybe ditch this seat and possibly that one as well, because that does feel quite tight coming out of there. So you've got the wide variety of seats, and you can go back. And if you want, you can go off onto the back, have a look around the life rafts. Obviously, with crew authority, if you have to have it. Or you could go down this way, in through the front door, greeted by all the lovely seats. Or you could just press return to workshop and build something else. But we're not going to build something else, we're going to keep this going. So, paint. What colour is this deck here? Because I could just do it the same. I'm sort of going with the idea that these are fleet mates and they're going to be operating alongside each other, or in a similar sort of situation to each other. So I think it's not unreasonable to sort of steal the paint off one of them. Only thing is the big boat is a different colour altogether, because it's based more off the real boot than these two. These two are sort of a bit more creative, a bit more customized. Not in a bad way, but I mean, there's one boat in the fleet that doesn't match the same colour scheme. That's not a bad looking thing, I suppose. It's not the nicest colour, but it's not the worst. Okay, this isn't strictly necessary, but it might just make a little bit of difference in how it looks. Good to go. Actually, I don't need to do them all because I'm going to be copy and pasting anyway. So rather than just going with a kind of bog standard design, we'll make it a wee bit more fancy looking. Everyone knows fanciness is much better than practicality. And this will also be just another little thing to add lag, because you can't have too much of that. Use our selection tool and we'll grab them. And then we'll merge all these together. See if it's doing it after. Copy that and move it over. I've missed one, of course. I really need to get a better playlist, because this playlist is getting very repetitive on every single stream. Let's see if any better music lined up. Okay, I don't recognize this one. It doesn't mean it's good though. It could be a bad sign actually. What way do we do this? Oh no, I do recognize this one. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it, let's be honest. That was stupid. I did that to the wrong scale. Four. Okay, well, what have I done here? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. This isn't adding up. 4. Four. What? Is that supposed to be 5? Maybe that's what it is. Okay, let's go with that. Doesn't really matter. Enough to worry about. Then we'll copy and paste this over on this side, make it all look nice and neat and tidy. Jeez, that looks messy. That's why it didn't work. So I started up too high. 3, 4. 3, 4. 4. Okay, this still is not up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would add up to there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, that's what it's been. Okay, that's better now. Let's recopy that, repaste it, there we go, and add in some lights. Now, what style of lights do we go to? I'm sort of thinking like kind of suspended in the air to an extent. It's a sort of customized color. Making it a bit more interesting looking. And then we'll use actually an exhaust manifold as our sort of connection for them. Hopefully that doesn't interfere too much with the rear nav light. I suppose we could always turn them around actually. We could turn them to face downwards instead of outwards. That might work a bit better. Only issue is it's sort of in front of the door, but it doesn't really matter too much. And that should be enough to light up the whole back of the boat then. So, lower deck exterior. It's literally 2 lights here and then probably 2 at the front. Actually no, 1 up at the front. We can literally just connect these up to the loom of the floor lights because they're all connected anyway. Let's test them. Probably should have done the top lights as well, but we can do them after. No harm in spawning it in twice in a row. Okay, lower deck exterior lights, they should be on. They are indeed. Okay, it's bright enough. Oh yes, that is the perfect brightness. Perfect indeed. Brilliant, okay. So we're gonna have a few more of these. 1 up there, 1 up here. Gonna be a bit more slightly customized in where they go because the actually no, we'll do these low down so that they don't do much glare. The last thing we want is glare. Do them at sort of leg height. Perfect level to bang into them when you're walking past. We won't need too many up here, so I'm sort of thinking just have a couple. I'll build one of these up like this as like a sort of mounting bracket for them. It'll look a bit weird, but it should look better than sort of them hanging there. We'll need actually one of these. And then we'll put that there, and we'll actually put one underneath it and do it different again. So we'll grab a manifold. I'll just go and select it because I can't be bothered searching for it. Grab the manifold, stick it on the roof of that, and joining it to the railing. I'd say we could get away with the 2 of them, but I'm going to do another one just for good measure. I'll do them on the outer bit because why not? Actually just do them directly to the board then. Okay, so that's all the exterior lights in. Let's give it a proper test then at night time. It should look really good now. Hop our way across. Lovely. It's a wee bit of a nightmare to get past, but it's sort of, it's not too bad. You can live with it. Upper deck lights. Passenger cabin accent lights, bridge systems. Oh All around lights, nav lights, steaming lights. Why are they not coming on? Probably because I don't have the right electric setup, but we'll worry about that later on. Let's just creep our way out of here. They aren't on, why are they not on? I didn't actually connect them up, well, that's what happened. That would really help if I had done that. Probably would have been able to see what we were doing a bit better. So one there, one there, one there, and one there, 6 in total. While we're here, we'll just fix this little nav lights issue. Get them to directly to the main light board because there's no real reason not to. They're both directly connected anyway, so having them go to 2 separate phases would just be extra unnecessary wiring. Oh yes, look at that. I just need to navigate this very dark boat. It's for some reason glowing a sort of yellowy glow instead of the usual white. Upper deck, passenger cabin, accent lights. Okay, we've got a nice glow now. Get our motors running. Nav lights, steaming lights. Oh yeah. This is looking good now. All I need now is a nice wheelhouse to go along with it. And then we'll be sorted. I'm really happy with how these turned out. I think they look very, very good. I've got a bit more space up here as well. And more importantly, less seats to number. Right, let's pick up the pace a wee bit. %, throttle. See, that should be bringing us to 10 knots. Oh no, 14 knots. Because 26 is our max. 13 knots, sorry. But it's not. It's doing a lot of work and not getting a lot of return out of it. It's doing 9 RPS. We have a range of about 300k though. So it'll easily go to the Arctic like this. It's just a wee bit slow. And there's no way you'd be taking this to the Arctic anyway, so you're good. I think that's a good time to call the stream a success while we're ahead kind of thing. Got the nav lights all nicely done. We've got the passenger deck lights done. Give it a wee bit of a nicer look. As always, I'll continue on off stream with a few stuff. Probably mostly logical stuff. I'll do a little lights in here because that's not really much fun to watch on stream. And then next episode or next stream, sorry, we'll hopefully be finishing it off, the last kind of final touches. So yeah, that will be the plan. Get it up to that level and then go from there. So yeah, thanks very much for tuning into this stream if you did. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.